What's going on, everybody? I apologize for the delay. That was my fault. I was running late, but here we are, DNC Digital live with Vert Vixen, doing the press for Mission Pro Wrestling. Hell Hath No Fury. Thunder Rosa will be there. Lindsay Snow will be there. Baby D will be there. Roxy will be there. Jenna Van Muscles will be there. Everybody will be there, and so we're just waiting on Vert Vixen right now. But hope everybody's doing good. The last interview kind of went off the rails. So I was talking to Lindsay Snow, and she got a little upset over something that Thunder Rosa had said recently about targeting her neck. Debo Freak Show, what's going on? How you doing today? Hope all is well. Let me send you a little wave. So yeah, so that happened, and I was hoping it wasn't me. I don't know, but we're moving on. Here to present to you, Miss Vert Vixen. How you doing, Miss? There you go. Oh,
There we go. Okay, there we go. I'm like, this is weird.
all
Can
right,
you hear me okay?
yes, I can hear you well. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm sorry about the delay. Just doing a few errands and trying to get back.
You're good, man.
Originally from Austin, is that correct?
Yes, originally from Austin.
All right, so I know what's
Oh
going
no,
on,
wait.
Monty Ray.
My brain. I'm originally from Orange County, California, from Southern California. I don't know why I was thinking that I was from Austin. I'm not from Austin. It was a
Okay, but you're
lie.
living in Austin. Is that
I'm li-
okay?
yes, I'm living in
Monty
Austin.
Ray, that's a strange question. Uh, I'll get to that later. But okay, so now saying where you're originally from, that's interesting because now I want to know who has the best burritos between Southern California and Texas.
Oh God, they're different, but I really miss California Mexican food. Like Southern California, like it's different, but I miss it.
Yeah.
I do
What
miss
uh,
it.
what what else would you do over there in Southern California before you moved out here?
What do you mean? What else would I do? Like what
Well,
I
I
do
mean,
for my
as far as
job?
your hobbies when you were growing up and your interests.
Definitely. I won't lie to you. Not wrestling. Like I didn't get into wrestling until 2 years ago. But before I was a 3D artist and a cosplayer, a professional cosplayer. So I would do digital sculpting and 3D print it and make armor. And I worked for a couple of video game companies as a 3D artist. So completely different life.
No, yeah, definitely. I looked up your cosplay past, and it's really impressive. And I say that about a lot of cosplayers that really put the time and effort into their characters that they're cosplaying that night. So, what was it when you started cosplaying? What was one thing that surprised you the most about the process of getting it all together?
The time. Like you don't realize how long it takes somebody to make a costume until you actually make one. And when you're like, I can make this in time for the convention, I'll be fine. And then you're like 2 nights before the convention and you realize that if you want to get this costume done, you're not going to sleep. And you're probably going to work on it like in your hotel room at the convention. It takes way more time than you'd ever expect. Like way more. I learned eventually to like plan out my time for how long it would take me and then add like 10, 20, 30 hours to it, depending.
Lang Lucha Panama, how you doing today? So let's talk about your growing pains when it came to cosplay. Who was your first character, and how what kind of things did you learn along the way to getting to those amazing costumes?
Well, thank you so much. So the very first character I did, it was I don't know if you've played World of Warcraft or not. I'm a
Yeah,
nerd over here.
it's all good. It's
Okay,
all good.
so it was the Warlock Succubus pet. So it was basically like a succubus, and I had my friend help me make it, and I wore it to BlizzCon. And I was just addicted with walking around in costume after that point. And then the first one I made on my own was Codex from the Guild. Once again, I don't know if you know what that is or not, but
I'm sure it looked great though.
yeah, it was. I mean, honestly, I things that should have been sewn were hot glued together because I didn't know how to sew at that point. But the growing pains in general was just realizing and learning that, like, to be a cosplayer, it's not just like I need to work with foam or I need to sew. It's like I need to work with foam. I need to learn how to sew. I need to work how to work with plastics. I really need to learn how to do makeup. I have to learn how to style wigs. I have to learn how to pose for photography. I have to learn how to like be in character. Like it's so broad. I don't think people
Yeah,
realize that.
I'm
Like,
just realizing that now that you got to learn acting, modeling. You got to ask your grandma how to sew something. You gotta
yeah.
you have to have an imagination. Like it's so crazy yeah, I saw some of your stuff, and a lot of stuff I saw leaned toward Street Fighter because you had a Bison one and you had a Cammy one. So in the
Right.
big rivalry between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, are you more partial to Street Fighter?
Oh, you know, you're gonna hate me for saying this. I actually prefer Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, that's fine.
Like
That's fine. I can't
I've
choose
always
between the
been
two.
a
I
Mortal
cannot choose.
Kombat kid. Look, like I love Street Fighter and everything. In fact, like I'm such a nerd. I love the movie. It's so
Oh,
good.
the movie's great. With
I love the
with
movie.
you know what my favorite part was when Van Damme does the uppercut and it's obviously not his arm that they show like all cut up. And then man, what else? I remember Bison's speech to Chung Li in that one little
hmm
room, and you know what? And it puts her down as a woman. You know, it's a very misogynistic
It's
type of speech that he gave her. But no, the
it's a
movie is
speech
so
for
bad. The movie is so bad it's good. That's
it's
what I
so
tell
good.
everybody. It's so good.
You're talking you're talking about the it was a Thursday or Tuesday for me speech, right? Where he
Yes,
like sits
yes,
her down
yes.
and talks about selling it. He's like, for me it was a Tuesday, whatever it was. I love that one, okay.
Um,
Sorry.
so when you talk
Nerd.
about cosplaying and learning how to sew, learning that you should have used the sewing needle instead of glue gun, what's the biggest like cosplay hacks that somebody can learn if they ran out of something?
Hot glue. Hot glue saves everything. I mean,
Hot
like,
glue saves everything.
sorry, allergies. Oh, yeah, hot glue saves everything. Like, but it's like never like a permanent fix. It's always just like a good temporary like fix. It's
This
a
will be
lot of
good
my
for two
friends will
hours
always
until I
tell me,
pose again, and then it'll just be ripping apart.
and then it'll just fall off because hot glue is not meant for like a permanent situation, right? But the other thing is like you learn too that you always want to have sticky back Velcro on you at conventions because if something ever comes off, you just peel off the sticky back
Oh, there you
Velcro and
go.
you stick it, and then you just stick your armor piece back on. Like you learn a bunch of stupid tricks like that. People have like cosplay repair kits that they hide in their armor somewhere. Or they'll have their handler hold them, or it's it's a
How,
whole world.
how do you feel when you have little girls at Comic Cons and conventions coming up to you like looking at you like you're a princess or an awesome badass fighter? Like, how do you feel about that platform that you have for little girls?
It's the best feeling for me. And it's one of the reasons why I personally won't do like an OnlyFans or anything like that personally. Like because to I've had dads message me and tell me like my little girl now wants to do 3D modeling because she's seen the stuff you've done. And like my little girl has made this and it was inspired by you. Like I had a girl give me a drawing. Like that kind of stuff it touches me so deep in my heart because I'm like I want you to be the best woman that you can be. And if you're looking up to me like that, I want to be the best example that I can be for you. And yeah, I curse every so often. Like I'm not like the golden child here by far nearly at all, but there's there is nothing like a child looking at you that way and you realizing that you really can impact somebody's life like that. And so you need to be aware of how you're representing yourself to them so that they can represent themselves in the future, you know?
Definitely, that's an interesting thing to say because you know they say to never meet your heroes, and personally, I've been fortunate that when I've met somebody that I've looked up to, it's been a good experience. But there are stories of you know some people meeting somebody and they blow off their autographs, they blow off the picture requests, or they kind of break your heart. What, from the outside looking in, because you seem like a sweet person to all your fans, what do you think it takes to get that far? Why do you think people act that way when they get to a certain level and now their fans, you know, they blow off their autographs or pictures?
I mean, that's not, it's always different for everybody, you know? Like, I'm never sure why somebody's at that point. It could be anything from their own ego to an experience that they had or anything like that. Like, it could really be anything, and I'm not 100% sure. Like, to me, the only reason, like when I was doing cosplay professionally and I stream, I still stream now and all this, my fans support me. Like there are times where they have helped me pay my bills and live my life and support my work and my art and the things that I want to do. And I'm like, I can't be mean to you guys. Like you're
Yeah,
here for
you're
me. How
paying
can
my
I
bills
ever
right
do
now.
that to you? You're supporting me in every way you can, even just by like clicking like on a post or making a comment or I've had really bad days and I've actually had random fans message me and just be like, I hope you're feeling good, I hope you're doing better, blah blah blah. Like they truly care. So I just personally I'm like, nah, y'all are like family to me. Like I appreciate all of you as much as I can. Like in fact with my Twitch stream, I'm like I need to find more ways to reward my subscribers because they're helping me get through my month, so that I can
Definitely.
eventually just focus on wrestling and streaming.
Yeah. In cosplay, there's a lot of costumes that you kind of switch up the character and you make it for a woman if it's a male character or for the female character. You guys look great without saying another word. You guys look great in these costumes. But what it takes is a lot of confidence in yourself. What it takes is a lot of feeling comfortable with your own body, and that's something that not a lot of women can say, that they're comfortable with their own body or they are confident in their beauty. Um, is there anything you want to say to women who find it difficult to even probably wear a bathing suit or probably, go out and they don't think that they're that pretty?
We all have those days. Like in all honesty, like I can't tell you how many times I personally look in the mirror and I'm unhappy with what I see. Or like it's still like confidence is yes, I can be confident, but there are just days where that's not the reality. I have to I work constantly personally at trying to love myself more, and I do that through oh my gosh, my affirmations. I do that through affirmations, and I do that through meditation, and I do it through really just like if I find negative self-talk in my head, I'll start redirecting it to more positive self-talk because that's the kind of stuff that personally helps my confidence levels and just looking at myself in the mirror and actually telling myself that I love me, like not like the makeup I put on my face or not the clothes that I wear. Like I just love me as a person, and that's physical, mentally, emotionally. Like that's all parts of me, and that's what I would tell any woman is if you're feeling not confident with yourself, take some time with just you. Journal, write down how you're feeling. Start listening to more positive affirmations. If you guys don't do that, it's like I listen to them every morning, and it's like the best thing ever. It just wake up and I'm just like telling myself I love myself and I'm awesome. It really helps. Like it really just puts you in a good positive mindset so that you can tackle your day. So that when somebody comments on your post and says your butt looks like an ironing board, which has happened to me, or you're too fat or you're too thin or whatever it is, you can literally just, you know, flip them off and say screw off. I love myself. I'm putting myself out there, and it's not really for you. I'm doing it because I want to. So if you don't like it, you don't have to be here.
And you
So
have tens of thousands of followers and subscribers just to prove that. A lot of people supporting you, and a lot of people are joining the chat. It looks like you have a lot of support. You were talking about
yeah,
how
thank you guys.
important that is to you. So in the gaming world, I'd like to know. I feel like I want to know if there's any parallel to the wrestling world, because the outside looking in, public perception, when they hear about a girl in gaming, they say like, oh, a girl beats you, or yeah, you're good for a girl. Like a lot of things like that are being said. And do you find yourself intimidating people, or do you find other people not taking you seriously in the gaming world? And how can you parallel that to the wrestling world?
So luckily, I feel like nowadays it's not as big of an issue as it was in the past. Like, because I do work in video games. I'm a community manager for Gunfire Games. And when I first started working, I definitely like I've been in the game industry now for like 5, 6 years, doing art as well as community management. And when I first started, I definitely felt that a little bit more. And then from the streaming side too, when I first started streaming about 3 years ago, I kind of felt that too, in the sense of like I would have people come into my stream and make sexist comments like that. Like, you suck because you're a girl, and guys are only here to watch you because you're a girl. Or they would actually, like, put down my physical appearance. You look like a dude. Like, they would, like, things that you know that they wouldn't do in, like, a guy's stream, right? Like, why would you, you're specifically doing things here. Luckily, that's gotten a lot better. And I think it's gotten a lot better because of the new guidelines and restrictions that places like Twitch have put up. They want to focus more on the gaming aspect of it, or the art, or the workouts, or whatever you're streaming, because now Twitch lets you stream like everything. It wants you to focus more on that instead of just like, you know, I don't know if you've seen those streams in the past where it's like the girl's webcam takes up all of the stream, and then they've got a little tiny game in the corner, and they're gaming. You know, they really put the hammer down on that, and so it's a lot better to just focus on the stream and the streamer and the game, and not their gender or anything like that.
How did you find the persistence to continue? A lot of people might shut down when it comes to bullying like that. I mean, you seem like such a strong-willed person, but the fact is that there are not a lot of strong-willed people out there. To the point that, you know, it's almost like you need validation from people that you don't know. And once you get like these hateful comments or these attacks on your personal appearance, like in the beginning, it must have been hard to continue on, or was that just you're gonna brush it off your shoulder?
I mean, it's always hard when you're first starting out and you're sharing yourself with the world, right? Like, no matter what you're doing on the internet, whenever you post something, a picture, your art, your gaming, like whenever you make something and post it, or even just a photo of yourself, you're putting yourself out there.
Right.
And it takes a little bit of confidence to do that, right, at first, to be like, okay, I can do this. Okay, here we go. But then you're going to get, eventually, when you reach a certain point, there always are going to be trolls. There's always going to be those people that have nothing better to do than to put you down. And I don't understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, but it's something that you just have to realize, it's not me, it's them. And so every time I see a negative comment, or somebody talks bad about me, or, you know, their stupid sexist comments when I'm gaming or anything like that, I literally I don't pay attention to it. I say, you know what, that's them. I don't respond to it. I just ignore it, and I just move on. And it has to be like, hi, Thunder, distracted.
Yeah, I know. We're like, I have to be on your behavior. Like, you have to have your hands crossed, and you have to be sitting up.
I am a good girl.
Hi, ma'am.
No, but I know. Hi. But seriously, it does take a strong will, but I think that, and it does take thick skin, but thick skin is something that you can grow. Like, not a lot of people are just going to have thick skin when they get into wrestling, or when they get into streaming, or when they get into cosplay, or whatever they're doing, but you've got to learn to have it. And the more crap you take from people, the more you've got to build up your armor, and like I said, go back to that, focusing on you and loving what you're about and what you're doing, and realize why you're doing it. Because it's not for them. Like, it's for you. Yeah. So that was
got me all fired up now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to talk about your wrestling career in a second, but I want to learn about. I'm sure you still have friends in the cosplay world. Do they have an appreciation for wrestling gear, knowing how much you have to present yourself and get an idea across?
That's an interesting question. I actually don't talk to a lot of my cosplay friends anymore. Like, I moved, and I got involved in kind of a different world, and there's some people I still keep in contact with, but really not many. Like, I really don't. I do know this one girl that we actually did Cami cosplays together. She used to go by Super Taunt, Tally XO. Her wrestling name is Kylie Morgan. She's in Canada.
Okay.
She's awesome. I love her to death. But she actually makes wrestling gear, and she started making wrestling gear because she was is a cosplayer. She's still cosplaying. So she understands, like, the craziness and, hey, Mission, the craziness and everything that it takes to, you know, make wrestling gear, and what it really means to make that. And also, like, on a side note too, here, like, I had one of my cosplay friends help me make my first set of gear, and she did a really good job, but it wasn't, like, reinforced. it wasn't like gear, you know what I mean? And then I had a gear maker make my gear, and it was just different. It was like everything's not moving, everything's in place, nothing's gonna flip off. Like it's completely different. It's different. It's different.
Cosplaying did cosplaying kind of prepare you when it came to functionality and how something feels when it comes to gear?
Not really. Like actually not really. Because when you make a costume, like functionality should be one of like your first things when you think about making a cosplay, but like it's not. Whenever I would make a cosplay with the armor, my first thought was
That's when the Velcro comes
just
in.
like the character. Dude, no joke. I was like, I have to make this look just like the freaking character, because if I don't look like the game character, then I'm not doing it right. Like that
Nice.
was my perfectionist mentality. It hurt me in a lot of cases. Like I literally like could barely move in some costumes, or I would be in pain all day wearing it. But yeah, so I am not a good example when it comes to that at all.
Before we get into your wrestling career, there's one thing I wanted to show you. I saw a post the other day, and it just so happens that I have something that has to do with that post that you put up. So give me 1 second.
Okay, I'm interested. I'm interested. Hi, everybody, by the way. Thank you all for being here. See y'all slipping in. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, thank you. I don't know
All
what
right,
it's
I want to see your reaction when I put this up. You ready?
Yeah, do it. Oh, it's Sailor Moon Funko Pops! Yay! I'm jealous. They're so cute. Is
I
that
did
is that
a
signed by the voice
show.
actors?
I'm sorry. This is the voice actress who does Sailor Moon,
For the American voice actors or the
the American one.
Japanese?
Yeah, the American.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So
Oh,
I did a show a couple of years ago where I got to interview some of their guests, and I wasn't able to get to her because she didn't have a lot of time. But the showrunner is like, hey, if you want, I can get something signed for you. And I was like,
oh
well,
wow.
I bought this for my girlfriend a few years ago for her birthday, and so I just ran home and I grabbed it. I'm like, can you get her to sign this? And so she wrote it out to her, and she signed it. And
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
I know it's
I'm
kind
jealous.
I've never really seen an episode, but I know that you're a big fan and you want to get some Sailor Moon inspired gear. So I'm very interested. I'm definitely going to show my girlfriend whenever you debut that gear.
Yes, I have like three. I have two other gears in line before that. I'm gonna do a Kratos themed gear from God of War, and I'm gonna work on. I'm having Tanya make me some Twitch themed gear too. So like,
Sweet. This sounds
coming
cool,
up.
man. I think being a gamer is definitely it gives you a lot of chances to be creative with your gear, and I can't wait to see what you get next. But speaking about your debut, you said you weren't into wrestling when you were a kid. So what was it
No.
that got you into wrestling? What was it that got you so in love with the business that, not to sound romantic, but what was the day, what was the match, who was the person that made you fall in love with wrestling?
So, this is actually kind of interesting because it's kind of two different things. So, what got me into wrestling was I went through a bad breakup, and my friend had come over to help me finish a costume at the time, and she was binge watching reality TV shows on Hulu. Well, she was binge watching Total Divas, and I was like,
Academy Award
feeling
winning, that's just such a great, wholesome show. Go ahead.
so wholesome, so wholesome. So I wasn't feeling great, right? And so I was also started to binge watch TV, and I was like, Total Divas, what's this? And I just started binge watching Total Divas from the first episode. I think I went all the way through everything up to like the most recent season they had, and I was like, what is this? What are these women doing? Like, this is amazing. I need to learn more about this. What is professional wrestling? Like I kind of knew what it was, but I won't lie to you. Like I said this in the past couple podcasts I've done too. And I'm gonna probably get a lot of flack for this, but to me, The Rock was like the Scorpion King, and the actor. I didn't know him as Rocky Maivia, or like I didn't know any of that stuff. Like he was the Scorpion King to me. Like that's how little I knew about wrestling. And so after
Fair.
watching Total Divas, I started watching. I had Hulu, so I started watching Raw and SmackDown. and I fell in love with Becky Lynch, and I was just like, oh, these women are amazing, and I need to know more about this, and I have to do this, and I was like, sure, let me look this up, and I looked it up, and I found a school here in Austin, and I went in there, and they were like, this is gonna be the hardest thing you ever do in your life, and I'm like, nah, I got it, I can do this, and then
That
after like
first
day
bump.
two, I was,
Tell me about your first bump.
yo, it was. Well, it was bad. I don't even think I was definitely not a good bump. Like, it was pretty sure I hit my head a lot in the beginning. I couldn't even like it was bad. I kept falling on my butt. Like it was just I was talk about not a natural. Like there's so many habits that I just had to freaking that I'm still breaking. But yeah, I think it was like the first week after training. I like got out of bed one morning and I was like, I feel like I'm 50. Like I can't move. Is this my life now? What am I doing? But the more I did it, and the more I did it, the more I was like, even though this sucks and it hurts, I love it. Like I
Hmm.
kept falling more and more and more and more in love with it. And then I started working more matches. The current man I'm with, Prince Adam, like he's obsessed with wrestling, and so he would show me more stuff. And the more I watched, the more I did, the more I trained. All of a sudden, I started getting this fire, and it's a fire that's burning like super bright right now. But I just want to be absorbed in wrestling. Like I just want to like I want nothing other than that in my life right now. Like I wake up and all I think about is wrestling and training and going to the gym. Like what can I do to make myself look better? What can I do to make my work better in the ring? What can I do? Hey, it's okay. Sorry, my dog's barking.
Oh, that's fine. We just had
But yeah,
puppies. I'm surprised that they're being so good.
oh
We
puppies,
have 5 puppies. I was like,
oh babies.
and now they're just walking around chilling like they own the place. Like,
That's for now until they reach like because we have two puppies too. One's a year and one's 6 months, and once they reach like 4 months, they're like crazy.
no, no, they're nuts. I know you don't like talking about your personal life, but it's just um, when I got together with my girlfriend, I had to sit her down and explain to her, look, I have a problem. I am obsessed with wrestling. It's a problem that I do not intend to fix. And so I told her, I'm like, it's gonna get crazy. Like, so she's been a fan with me for a long time. She loves NXT, and she's more partial to like the documentary type stuff that they release. Because she gets
Hmm.
to learn more about the person, and she'll watch matches with me and everything. So she's understood that I have the network on all day long. Like I'm just
Hmm.
binging WrestleManias or binging Royal Rumbles. But when you say that your boyfriend is obsessed, did you get to that level, are you now more obsessed than he is?
No, I think I'm slowly reaching his level. Like honestly, like his level is I anybody who knows him, his level is like way that like I don't think it's a human level of obsession, which isn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. But like whenever, he's constantly on his phone looking at stuff, watching matches. Like whenever we eat, he has to throw on like New Japan or the network or whatever. Like it's constant. Like it's great. I'm learning a ton. I love it.
Like
But
Xenon
I don't
two
know if I
six
can
two
ever
three
reach
knows
that.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I felt that.
Okay, so now let's talk about your beginning in wrestling. So the bumps were hard and everything was crazy. You got the burns under the arms when you started running the ropes and everything. And so talk about your first match. Was the person helpful? Did they walk you through it, or was it like I'll see you in the ring type of deal?
I constantly regret my first match, and the reason I say that is I was training with another girl who's no longer in the business. But our first match we had kind of pre-planned, and not like a normal, let's talk about it and then do it in the ring. It was like weeks of planning. And we were both really green. And so neither of us could lead the match. Neither of us could really interact with the crowd. Like we did the best we could, but I think I would have given anything to have my first match be with a vet, to be with somebody who knew and understood what's going on, in the ring and with the crowd. Because we went too fast. Like, I go back and watch it, and it's just not, like, yeah, I'm green and it's my first match, but there's just, I just wish it could have gone differently. I wish I could have shared that moment with somebody other than her. Like, I really do, you know?
Yeah,
So,
and as you were doing shows and everything, you know, there's a level of professionalism that you need to keep, and that's cool and everything. But sometimes somebody's booked, and you're like, "Holy crap, it's that person." Can you
hmm
go back to your first moment where you kind of lost your cool and fangirled over somebody maybe that was booked for a show, or did that even happen?
I don't actually, like, I won't lie to you, it really hasn't happened. And not because I'm a huge fan of a lot of the people I've worked with, or, you know, and I've been fortunate enough to work with, but I've been also very fortunate being in the game industry and being around modeling and acting when I was younger, that like I've been around names before, and so I know that it's not what you're supposed to do. You know, like you've gotta like keep your cool and be professional. Like that's what you need to do. I think the closest I got was when I met Animal, and he's
Oh
like the only
wow.
one I took a picture with. I was like, I guess like I was talking. I was like, wait. I was like, is it okay for me to take a selfie with him? Like, do you think he'll take a picture with me? Like, I don't want to be that person, but other people are taking pictures, and it's kind of cool for me just to have, like, to show my kids one day.
Hey, look,
So,
Brian Cervantes. He said he went to your first match. He drove like 2 hours to check.
I know. Thank you, Brian, for being there. I'm like super grateful that you were there because that's how I got the opportunity. The first opportunity with Mission Pro. So thank you, thank
That's
you, thank you.
awesome. You know, I mean, when you say that you didn't want to be that person, and you know, you can't be doing that when it comes to working with somebody. Fair warning: when it comes to Hell Hath No Fury, I'm gonna be taking pictures with everybody, including yourself.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
We're gonna
I'm
finish the
down.
interview,
I'm
and I'm
always
like, take the
down.
picture, take the picture. I want to go back to your gaming world, your gaming career for a second, because you had the awesome opportunity, and I think it helped you out throughout the future. You were a host for GameStop TV for a while. Talk about
For
your
a year.
experience during that. Was that a good time? Did you learn a lot about production and?
I learned a ton. Like I had never read off a teleprompter before that, so I learned how to do that, and that's a whole new monster. If you have never done that, it was fun. But it was really cool because we did a variety of different things. Like we would do interviews and we would do teleprompter readings. We would just do like open chat conversations. Here's some bullet points. Like we did a lot of different stuff, and so I learned a ton. And it was I love being on a set. Like there is nothing like being on a freaking production set and having those cameras and having, you know, production there, having those lights on you, sitting on a stage, having to just, you know, be there and turn it on. Like there's nothing like that. Like the closest feeling I get to that is being in the ring, you know, and those are like my two favorite things is being on a production set and being in a ring because you get to just perform, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know, but I learned a lot. I miss it. I really wish that, you know, the contract hadn't been up and I could do it longer with them, but it was an amazing opportunity. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I learned a ton and, you know, who knows, G4 is coming back, so maybe I'll just be like, hey, need any more hosts?
So are you excited about the PS5 release, or are you excited about Xbox next thing? Are you
I'm a
PS4 or
PlayStation.
Xbox? What do you do?
Well, first of all, I game mostly on PC because I have a
Oh,
gaming PC. It's
right.
mostly what I game on, and I do use an Xbox controller on my PC.
Hmm.
But when it comes to consoles, I'm Sony, like 100%. Like I'm PS4, PS5. I'm very excited about the PS5. Very excited.
What was your first console that you bought?
My first the N64. My mom, my brothers got the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and then I had to convince them to buy the N64. But they would never buy me a portable gaming system, so I never got a Game Boy, and I will never forgive them for that. I never got a Game Boy, and I never got a Game Boy Color. Like I never experienced. My first handheld console that I got was the DS. That was my first handheld console.
Wow, wow. This
Right,
is
right.
this is when I tell you that my first one was like the Tecmo one, the handheld, and I had the original Nintendo, the one that looked like a VCR. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm older. I'm just a little
I'm sure
older. It's fine.
there's people in the stream though that they're like the N64, the original PlayStation. What is she, a grandma? Like
What's that,
my first
Grandma?
system
Oh
was
hell
the
no!
Xbox 360. Like,
If you're a
you
grandma, I'm a
know,
fossil. Jesus. Um,
um,
hey, so now you are booked for, as the time goes along, I see, and I'm very fortunate to be a part of this event as a sponsor and to help you guys and support you guys 100%. And this is something that I wanted to do because I'm going to interview you guys at the show. But, hey, Lindsay Snow came in. Lindsay Snow came in. I hope you're not upset from the last time we spoke. But yeah,
what did you all?
she
She's
got.
amazing. You better not have upset her.
I,
She's an amazing
the fact that
person.
she's here, the fact that she's here now is a testament of forgiveness. She just got upset about something Thunder Rosa said, and she kind of left. But I hope all is well. But when it comes to I kind of lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Lindsay just stepped in and it was all over.
Lindsay
Like you
stepped
were
in
just
and it
so
was
blinded.
over.
You were like, oh, this amazing person's here. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Zenon, just look at my past posts and you'll see everything
Still,
that happened. It's all fun
still
stuff.
the tea.
Okay, so I'm gonna be doing interviews with you guys at the show, but I also wanted to do this to get in depth with your career and to also promote the show beforehand. But the show is turning into something so big because when it comes to mainstream stuff, a couple of companies have one women's champion, and one particular company has three separate women's champions and tag team, a women's tag team champion. And that's all good. But Mission Pro Wrestling is now providing a spotlight for the entire locker room, and the entire locker room is consistent of women, strong, independent, ass-kicking women. Jasmine Allure, that's a friend of yours, I know that, right? She's
Yes.
on right now. So how do you feel about what Mission Pro Wrestling can do in this first step toward the future of spearheading women's wrestling?
I mean, I think it's great. I think it's definitely there's been a lot of huge steps that have been taken, in general in the history of female wrestling, right? But I think this is just the next step that was ready to be taken in all female promotion, where not only are the workers female, the commentary is female, and the announcers female, and all of the production stuff, all of the production workers are female, and everyone, the booker's female. I think that this is the next step that's needed to really showcase women's talent across the board, and not just in the ring, but across the board, and to really help showcase, maybe some female talent that's newer to the business, like me. It's a really really great platform, and I really think it is the next step into going from specifically women's wrestling to just calling it wrestling. You know what I mean? Showcasing women in wrestling, but focusing on the fact that it's wrestling. I don't know.
It's wrestling. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're women. It's just wrestling.
Right. Right.
And what do you want people to walk away with after the show is done?
I mean, I want everyone to be entertained. I want everyone to freaking be like, that was a damn good show, and I want another one. I want everybody to walk away and realize this. It doesn't matter. It was a good wrestling show. It doesn't matter if it was all female or all male or whatever. It's a good show. That it created good content. It got good matches. The quality of the show is high. Which I know all of that's going to happen because it's Mission Pro and everyone they've got to hang out with it. It's going to be an amazing show. I just want people to walk away with that. Just to walk away realizing this was an amazing, incredible show. And all these women did this. And this is wrestling. That's my hope.
With all these, particularly with AEW, they're starting to showcase a lot of talent that aren't necessarily contracted. How do you feel that can be detrimental as far as building a star, or do you feel like it's a good thing to give some independent stars opportunities?
That is such an interesting question because I actually have thought about that. I was actually thinking about that recently. I kind of think, I almost want to say it's a mix of both. It's
Because
given. It definitely
I
is
feel like
given.
sometimes they put the people on AEW Dark, that after show that they do.
Right.
But then now
Right.
Cody and now the women's champion are taking open challenges from anybody. Do you
Right.
feel like that? Do you
Well,
feel
I
like that
mean,
that might be a wasted opportunity on where you can build maybe a smaller guy to the level of a title shot?
I think you can balance it. I mean, aren't they giving Scorpio Sky a chance here next? Which is kind of
Yeah,
what they did
Scorpio
with
Sky
him.
is
They were
getting a
building
little
him
bit.
up. I think that they're that actually just happened, didn't it? I haven't watched the latest episode of AEW Dynamite. I won't lie to you. But I think it's a mixture of both. I think it does. It is really great to give all of these newcomers, all these people, this opportunity to be on TV, be it Dynamite or Dark. Like I think it's a great opportunity for them. And at the same time, I think that AEW can balance that, which I feel like they're kind of doing with building up some of their contracted stars. I know that actually a great example of giving people an opportunity that leads to building them as a star, kind of different, is Ricky Starks. Like he got the opportunity to face Cody,
Oh
and then he
yeah,
got
and now he
contracted.
just he
Like
just got signed. Yeah,
yeah, and now they're slowly building him up, and that's a great example. So I kind of feel like they're starting to blend the two a little bit, and I feel like they can blend that. I feel like maybe some people might miss out. Like it just, I don't know. It just depends. Because part of me is like they're bringing in these like the women, they're bringing in all these different girls. They're showcasing them for like one, two, three, maybe three matches, and then we don't see them again. And it's like, what's like, are you going to bring them back? Like, do you want to sign them? Do you want to work with them again? Like, so I feel like it can be detrimental in that sense. But then, like I said, once again, you've got Ricky is the opposite example, who was able to take that opportunity and get a contract.
yeah.
So it's like,
Maybe I feel like when it comes to that, I feel like maybe as a company, the whole let's bring her in for 3 matches and then you never see her again. It's as a company, from a company's perspective, business wise, I don't think that kind of works. But when it comes to the woman herself, I feel like that platform that she just had, now people are just going to start to go looking for it.
oh yeah, it'll definitely boost you. There's no question, and it's going to like boost your bookings too, right? Because now
Yeah,
you've worked for AEW. Like there's no question that it's a good thing. Like it's definitely a good thing all around, no matter what ends up happening. That's why it's one of those things where it's like it's a balancing act, and I
yeah.
do feel like AEW does a good job with that.
After the pandemic hit, unfortunately, shows have all shut down. No crowds anywhere. This is the first show of my knowledge out here, like with a crowd. And Mission Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling is going to do everything they could to make sure that everybody is socially distanced. Masks are required and everything. When it comes to mainstream wrestling, though, do you feel like they're doing their best as far as the quality of the content? You as a fan, let's just speak as a wrestling fan, and maybe a perspective of somebody in the wrestling business. Do you feel that they're doing the best they can with no crowds?
I mean, yeah, I love what they're doing more recently. The fact that they have the other workers there, so there's some kind of reaction. Yo, it popped me super hard. Oh God, was it when they throw people into the plexiglass? It was Sasha or Bailey that did it recently. I can't remember off the top of my freaking head, but like that just popped me so hard. Just throwing somebody into that plexiglass, that divider between the people and the wrestlers. Like I don't know. I think that what they're doing right now with having some people out there, so there is still some crowd reaction to it, while everyone's still staying safe. I think that is, in my opinion, is the best balance of what they've done. In the beginning, when it was nothing, it was kind of a little strange to watch at first. Like I still enjoyed the wrestling, and obviously it's super high quality production because it's WWE and
Right.
AEW. But it definitely feels better with some kind of reaction there because it's like you just think about those WrestleMania moments and Bailey, thank you, Zena, and I'm pretty sure it was too. Think about those WrestleMania moments, this Royal Rumble moment, like the Royal Rumble moment with Edge. Oh, the crowd just went freaking crazy. Like there's nothing like that, and you miss that. Like that is such a huge part of wrestling. Miss it.
Do you feel like The Undertaker had a documentary, and he thought that
The
at
last
his
guy.
age, yes, he thought that at his age, having one match a year would be helpful for longevity in his career. But it turns out that he's like, when you don't have those reps, when you don't take those bumps 3, 4 nights a week, your body does not get used to it anymore. Are you afraid of any type of, soreness or difficulties in your match coming up in Mission Pro?
I've been very fortunate that I've been able to train recently. Like I have been able to do training, so I have been able to get in the ring and bump around and do all that stuff. But even during the lockdown, yes, I wasn't able to bump, but I was still going to a park and we were doing like burpees and sprints and rolls on a mat and on the grass, and I was working on my cartwheels and handstands on the grass. And I was doing whatever I could without a gym. And I have to say that that did help. Like the first couple bumps still hurt. Like there's definitely, if you're not bumping around or working in a ring, for a minute, you do feel it. It is a different, I mean, he's 100% right on that. You get used to it. Your body like loosens up. I don't know what it is. I don't. But it's like when you work out hard and then you don't work out for like 2 days, you're more sore than if you had worked out like those 2 days instead. I don't understand. It's got to be a lactic acid muscle buildup thing. I don't know. I'm not a personal trainer, but it's like that, but like 10 times more difficult. So I'm not super worried because I have been able to train. In fact, I just did a show in Minnesota a couple weeks back, and then I have a couple shows in between before Mission Pro, so I'm not super worried.
Real
about
Jordan
that.
Ewing, how you doing, bud? I appreciate everybody coming on this live. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. Is there any advice? Because you seem like you're the jack of all trades or the Jill of all trades, or what they would say for a woman. No,
Yeah.
because looking at your stuff, I'm like, cool, she's a wrestler. Oh, damn, she did cosplay. That looks dope. And then I'm like, oh, she did this in the gaming world, and you work in the gaming world, and you came from the gaming world. Now you're wrestling, and you seem to just say, I'm going to do it, and watch me do it. So what kind of advice do you have for young women or even young men that have difficulties taking that first step toward a dream that may not make money right now, but it's definitely a dream that they want to achieve?
You have to just, I mean, it's exactly what you said. You have to just do it. And it's, man, I did an art podcast like a year and a half ago or something like that. And I said something similar in the sense of like, you can literally do anything you set your mind to. The only thing that's holding you back is you. So if you want to wrestle, you want to paint, you want to draw, you want to be an actor, you want to go get a Wall Street job, like whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. You 100% can do it. You just have to put in the work to get there. Like you have to take those necessary steps to figure out what it is that you need to do to get to where you want to be. But you can do it. And if you set your mind to it and you set your passions to it, you set your goals and you just grind, you'll achieve any career you want. I've changed my career like 4 times. I think this is number 4. So, and part of me is like regretful in that case, because if I had just stayed as like a 3D artist, I would be like a lead somewhere. Like I might be an art director at this point if I had just stuck with it. But it just wasn't. I'm a very strong believer in being happy with what I'm doing with my life. And if things get monotonous and if things don't feel right, then I will automatically be like, I'm not happy. Let me make myself happy. How am I going to make myself happy? Let me figure this out. And I will start working towards that new step or that new career, that new goal. That's not going to happen with wrestling because I've never loved anything this much. I'm done. Now I just need to get
That's
done.
it?
That's
Check,
it.
please.
I'm done. Yes. Contract.
You're like,
We're
you're putting up
good.
picture frames. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I put up picture frames and everything. I'm not leaving.
Basically. Yeah, I've moved my toiletries into wrestling's bathrooms, so
Once you move your toothbrush, that's it. That's it.
it's over.
You're like, oh, damn, she brought her toothbrush. She ain't going anywhere.
I know, and a razor. Ooh, she's serious.
Oh, that's definitely serious. That means you're staying for days. All right,
Right?
so let's do some rapid fire questions. Real quick.
Yeah.
Tekken or Killer Instinct?
Tekken.
Oh, really? Okay. What was the first console?
Oh, you're lagging.
What was the
There you
game
go. Hi.
that what was your first game?
The first one that I really remember was Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like that's like I know there were games before that. Like I played GoldenEye and there was some like Wave Runner game that I played a lot on the PlayStation. But like Zelda Ocarina of Time was the game that got me into gaming.
What is the most difficult thing about being a 3D artist?
Sitting at a desk all day.
Any older consoles that you'd like to go back to and play?
The N64, I miss it.
No, older than what your
Oh,
time.
older than that? Not really. Not really. I'm okay.
I like how
gotta
you
play the
crouch
original.
down like you're like he's gonna get upset because he's older.
Well, I mean,
and-
other people are gonna get upset too. They're gonna be like, "No, you're not a gamer. You don't want to play the original Nintendo or Bomberman on whatever that console was." I don't even remember.
How about this one? You are booked for Survivor Series. You and four of
Ooh.
your teammates, any era, four of your teammates.
I've gotten asked this before. Kota Ibushi, Asuka, Io Shirai, and just for the sake of it, Owen Hart.
Wow.
Yep.
I can imagine
I
everybody.
wanna, can I add Taker in there too? Can he be on the
I can
sideline?
imagine like 9 women in the ring, and then Owen Hart's music hits, and they're like, "Is this the right?"
I said
match?"
Kota Ibushi. I said Kota Ibushi.
Oh, that's right.
He
You
would
said
be
Kota
alone.
There was.
So.
Would you rather be stuck in Jumanji or in Jurassic Park?
Oh, what? I can't. My first thought was Jumanji, no matter what he says. Then he said Jurassic Park. Yeah, rid of it. Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Nice. So you not only have Instagram, let everybody know. Hey, Lorenzo Morales, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in. You don't only have Instagram. Let everybody know where they can find you on Twitch and all your other platforms.
So I'm on Twitter at Vert Vixen, it's the same as my Instagram. I'm on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay. And I am on Twitch, and that's twitch.tv/Vert Vixen. In fact, I will be streaming here in like the next 30 minutes. So come say hi and hang out with me.
Definitely. Vert Vixen, I thank you so much for all your time. I can't wait to meet you. And maybe, just maybe I'll take one of my classic consoles here. We'll hook it up to the TV and see what happens.
You can see me fail at it. All right, I bet. I'm down.
You're
I'm
down?
down.
All right, sounds
Always.
good. All right, you can
Always.
follow Vert Vixen right here, up there. I think that's where it is. Vert Vixen, follow Vert Vixen. Gaming, cosplay, wrestling. Follow Mission Pro Wrestling. Check out September 18th. Is it Buda or Buddha?
I'm not from Texas. I think it's Buda.
That's
I'm
your
not.
answer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, is it pronounced Miami or Miami? I'm not from Florida. I don't know.
I mean,
Not-
look, it's like saying New Orleans and New Orleans, right?
That's fair, that's Okay, let's just say for just to say it out loud, we'll say Buda, Texas, September 18th, Pinball's Kingdom. It sounds weird. Maybe it's Buda. I guess it's Buda.
Let's go with Buda because Buda. Yeah, I just think of like Buddhism. Buddha.
It might be a peaceful town. You never know, Vert. You never know.
Not when I get there. It's all over.
Oh, good finish. Good finish.
Yeah!
Hell Hath No Fury, presented by Mission Pro Wrestling. Vert Vixen, DNC Digital. Follow all of us. You guys take care of yourselves and have a great night.
Bye.